Hi everyone, I'm Miss Sitaram from Sparkling Memories, and today we're actually going to be making some hash browns. As you see in front of you, this is what we're going to be making today. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and start with the ingredients. At this time I'm using red potatoes. It doesn't have to be organic, just has to be red potatoes. And then I have me a bowl, a spatula, a fork, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and of course you're going to need paper towels and a frying pan. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we started out with a very basic. We have the red potatoes here. That's before you even start to do anything else. And over here we have the peeler, and then we have the one potato. And then once you put it on the grater and you of course use the bottom part, it will look like this. And of course you can see it has a lot of water. So eventually we have to get rid of all that water before we do anything else. Okay, so we are to the second step. Here we have some cold water. I have it here. We already have the potatoes, and then we have another bowl. What we're going to try to do is get rid of all this water. But before that, it's always good to add the cold water to make sure that it already has in the water, because it is suggested you do that first. Now I know it would be a lot more complex if you want to try and get rid of the water, but that's where the strainer comes in. You take it, you grab a hold of it, and because it has so many holes within the strainer, the water seems to seep down. And you just shake it. They claim that you have to use some cold water. I'm like, well, that's another step, but it works, so why not? And because it has like this blue bowl, I would normally do something simple as putting some paper towel in there to make it even more drier. So now that I do have that, put it on there like that to get rid of more of the excess water that comes with it. And you just have it in a strainer and you just place it on a paper towel like that. As you can see, we just pat in it. I will use more paper towel and then just do it one more time. Not put it in the mixture, but to put it back in the strainer so you get a lot more excess water. That's where the paper towel comes in, because it's very good with getting rid of all the moisture that's in there. So now that we have more paper towel, of course, you know, I already have something right here too. That's my little mini cutting board. And then I'm going to take some of the paper towel, put it into the same one that's in the bowl. Just going to put that there. Add more paper towel and just get all that water out. You just press it. And yes, we still have the others sitting in the cold water. So now we're just going to unwrap it. See how nice that is already? And this part we're just going to use our fingers. And you see that? A lot less water than when we had first started, because we use a paper towel and we also use a strainer. So at this point, we're just going to take it and transfer it back into another container. In my case, it will be the blue bowl. And try and get as much as you can into the bowl. Because this is what you want it to look like. I'm just piece it apart with my fingers so you can actually see how much more drier it is. Should be able to do just that. Because our main purpose is getting rid of all that moisture that comes when you actually grate it and peel it, because it has its own water. And yes, we did put it in cold water before we strained it. Okay, so this is the next ingredient we're actually going to use. We have the eggs, the large. Of course, it's going to be the one that is farm fresh, which means shouldn't be like the other ones, because the claim is vegan fed hens, which having all these great vitamins, D, E, B2, B12, B5, as you see there. So we're going to use about 2 of those because the amount of potatoes looks like this, and it's not going to be a whole lot. I'm guessing about 4 as what I'm going to try to make out of it. Okay, so we have the potatoes in front of us, and of course we do about 2 large eggs, and as you can see, we also have to use a fork and whisk it very well. If you have a whisker, then you can do that too. Now this part is very simple, but it takes a little time. What you want to do is get yourself another spoon, and you just put in a little bit at a time, just like that. Once you get to that point, then you want to do a little mixing like this. Then you want to pour in just a little bit more, and then just repeat this step. I'm just doing about 2, I'm going to say teaspoon. At this point, I just put in about 3 or 4, and you just want to mix it. This is so you can actually get some of them actually to start to come together. Since you have all that water, you have to make sure it actually sticks at some point. So that's where the other bowl comes in. Once you have yourself another bowl, you just want to take some and you want to start doing your forming of it. So we're going to make sure it's the right consistency. And it's going to look something like that. See? So they start to stick together like that. That's what you want. Okay, so here is what we have them once you actually pat it in your hand and you form, I'm going to say a round shape because that's what I did with mine. And some of the other ingredients that we actually going to put on there to add, I'm going to put some salt. I do not want this to have a label, but that's actually onion powder and some garlic powder. These things I want to add for flavor. But the next step that you should do is add salt onto it before you actually put it into the pot. Now, I'm going to use a frying pan, and my heat goes up to about 10, and I'm putting on 7. So it could actually be really hot once I put them in, because once I put them in, it's going to get golden brown on one side, and then you'll flip it. So that's the part where you actually got to take your time and concentrate on what you're doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few of this on the top portion of these items before I actually put it in to the frying pan. Okay, so we have 1 in there so far. And as you can see, I didn't want to go and rush the brush, and when I say rush the brush, I don't want to go ahead and do something quick. I put in a whole bunch of them. This is just a test run, so I just put in the 1. And as you get closer, you can see it's getting a little brown on the one side. This is what you want to look forward to. And you let that do its thing. So I went ahead and flipped the one that's over. And it just has a golden brown color. I'm just glad it didn't start separating, which means the egg that's in there is actually holding it together. But I didn't use a whole lot of it. And since that was successful, I decided to put another one in there because I knew there's a lot more room for another one in the pan. So that's where we're at this point. Because when it comes to this, you just place it in. There's no taking the spatula and patting it down. That's it. You just let it go. Let it get brown all around the sides because it's going to do its thing. If you put in enough egg, it should hold. And that's what I was hoping for. One of the main reasons you want to do it at such a high heat is because it's said to be a lot quicker when it comes to browning on the sides versus if you use a medium heat, then it'd be a little different. And we actually end up making 5 instead of the original 4 like I intended, and we still have the remaining egg right here. I'm actually going to use the egg to make something else though. Since it's just egg in there, and then we just whisk, and we didn't really add anything else to the egg. So as you can see, they're just cooking and getting that golden brown color. And this one looks like it's actually ready to get to the point it flips. So it's closer to have brown. So hopefully it'll be great. Okay, so we did have to flip it again. As you can see, it already has this golden brown color. And this, yes, is the same one that we had before. It's just taking a little minute because I was skeptical, so I did turn on the firewall to 6 instead of 7 because our maximum is 10 as far as the heat. In front of you, I actually use olive oil. It says extra light in taste. And some of y'all probably use butter, and that's fine too. But as I understand this has to be on a high heat so it can work its magic. This is one I'm actually going to flip over here. As you can see, it has a great color. And this, my friend, seems to be one that's completely done. This is the one side. I'm going to flip it so you can see the other side. And that will be one of them that's completely finished. And of course, we have some over here that we still have to put inside. Before, I put that one a little bit together. Probably needed a little bit more egg. We have one doing and one that's done. And now, time for the taste test. Okay, and this is the end product. This is what we actually get to accomplish. Is we made 4 and then I actually ate one already, so it was pretty good. So next time, this is Miss City Ramp for Sparkling Memories. Bye bye.